You started as a frontline clinician, as a respiratory therapist, and progressed all the way to becoming a CEO, leading an organization. Can you share with us the journey and how did that happen? Did you always know you wanted to be here today?
I started volunteering at my local hospital at a very young age, and I knew early on that helping people was important to me. Working as a respiratory therapist and learning how to provide care both in the hospital and the community built my confidence, as well as opened up possibilities for me to see how there could be greater ways for me to impact the healthcare system. I was fortunate to work for great leaders along the way who encouraged me and to pursue further education, as well as provided challenges for me along the way. I definitely did not always know what I wanted to do, but what I did know is that I wanted to make a positive difference. I wanted to contribute in a meaningful way to the healthcare system. And I also knew that I was willing to work hard to learn and to do what it would take to figure out what I needed to know as I took on roles with more challenges.
You mentioned you went into respiratory therapy. How did you know you wanted to do respiratory therapy at that time?
That's a great question because it's not one of the more well-known allied healthcare professionals. So when I mentioned that I started volunteering early on in a local hospital, I actually took nursing courses at a very young age. And that exposed me to some of the allied professional roles that existed in hospitals. So I saw it as a blend of technology and innovation, as well as helping people.
And how different is it now being in this position as CEO, leading an organization versus that frontline clinician?
It's very different. What's important is keeping the patient front and center. I found that on any given day, I could be speaking to government officials, I could be speaking to politicians, I could be speaking with patients and families or clinicians. So a bit more variation and lots of fun too.
And how do you think your background as a clinician has helped you in your position in healthcare administration?
I think my experience working as a clinician, I learned a lot from working as part of a team and with other clinicians. In many of the roles I've had, my hands-on experience helped me develop rapport and credibility with some audiences. And it also helped me stay focused on improving care for patients and families. So while my clinical experience is quite dated, I do believe it fosters a genuine appreciation for all that I don't know, which often spurs me to ask a lot of questions, which I also think is a good trait for a leader, to be curious.
And how would your team describe you as a leader, Kim?
They would say that I'm energetic and optimistic, which helps me see solutions and the brighter side of things. They would say I'm dedicated to the collective cause. I've always been available and supportive to them, and that I have a good sense of humor. And I believe they would say that I challenge them and that I help them to be their best.
Those are some great traits for a leader. And I'm curious, how do you stay optimistic in this role? You know, there's so many changes. Sometimes there's highs, there's lows. Like in leadership, it's a constant growth journey, as well as, you know, those challenges that come about in sort of the blink of the eye. So how do you deal with those instances?
It's really important to acknowledge the challenges and hear how they're impacting the team and the people in your organization inside and out. But I also think it's important to focus your energy on what you can improve, how you can contribute, and what you can change. You can't address everything. So I think staying focused on where you can make a difference is energizing.
I love that you said that, because it's all about focus. So, you know, as a leader, you're only as good as your team. So it's really, you know, how your team is helping you to deliver those results. So how did you build the right team around you, recruit the right people to join you?
I agree. So much more can be achieved through the contributions of a collective team and teamwork. In building teams, I have valued skills and ability as well as creativity. Having good alignment with the values of the organization is also exceedingly important. And a team needs to be nurtured and developed. And leaders need to continually look for ways to inspire their teams. Bringing the right people together is sometimes the easy part. It's keeping them inspired and building that trust in between celebrations of achievement, which is also important. Because at the end of the day, we're all people and we all just want to do our very best.
That's so true. Is there one question that you always ask somebody you're interviewing to join you?
Yeah, I like to ask a question to understand the why. Why them? Why now? Why wanting to join the organization as people pursue roles? And the answers are often very insightful because they give me a clue to what their motivators are. So if in fact they are hired and become part of the team, it's nice to know what motivates them so you can work with them.
What's one answer that would get them hired?
People generally like to learn, they like to be challenged, and they also like to have a bit of a match with an environment that they're familiar with. So I think if you can help make those linkages so that there's some familiarity as well as some opportunity that's different to help them grow personally and professionally, that's usually a nice match.